All right, let's get into it. Today, we're tackling a topic that affects pretty much everyone at some point, but we don't really talk about it enough: constipation. And look, it's so much more than just a little discomfort. It's actually a key signal your body is sending you. So, we're going to break down what's really going on and, more importantly, what to do about it. And hey, if you think you're alone in this, you're not. Even the legendary Marvin Gaye had to deal with it. It just goes to show this is a universal human thing, so there's really no reason to be shy about figuring it out. So, first things first, what do we actually mean when we say constipation? Because it's a bit more complicated than just, not going to the bathroom. Let's get specific. See, constipation isn't just one single thing. It's more like a collection of symptoms. It could mean you're going less than 3 times a week. It could be that when you do go, your stools are hard and tough to pass. But I really want you to pay attention to that last one, the sensation of incomplete evacuation. That feeling that you've gone, but there's still something left behind. That right there is a huge sign of constipation, even if you're going every day. And this, believe it or not, is a super helpful tool that doctors actually use. It's called the Bristol Stool Scale. Basically, types 1 and 2, the hard, lumpy ones, are clear signs you're constipated. What you're really aiming for is type 3 or 4. That's the sweet spot for a healthy, easy bowel movement. And if you think this is some rare issue, think again. We're talking about 20% of Americans. That's 1 in 5 people. And that number jumps to over a third for adults over 60. So yeah, this is a really widespread health issue. Okay, so it's common, but why does it matter so much? Here's the bottom line. Having regular bowel movements is one of your body's most critical ways of getting rid of waste. It's a vital detox pathway. And when that pathway gets blocked, it can cause a whole cascade of other problems. Think about it. When that waste just sits in your colon, your body can start to reabsorb toxins it was trying to get rid of. This can throw your hormones completely out of balance, leading to things like estrogen dominance. And of course, all that chronic straining and pressure can cause physical issues like hemorrhoids over time. And this is where it gets really fascinating. You've probably heard the gut called our second brain, right? Well, there's a reason for that. Your gut produces about 90% of your body's serotonin. That's the neurotransmitter that makes you feel happy and calm. So if your gut is all backed up and inflamed, it makes sense that your serotonin production could suffer, directly impacting your mood and contributing to things like anxiety and depression. So, what's causing all of this? The truth is, it's rarely just one simple thing. Constipation is usually a complex issue with multiple factors at play. Let's dig into some of the most common root causes. First, it's helpful to know there are 2 main categories. Primary constipation is when there's an issue with the colon itself. The muscles or nerves just aren't working right. But honestly, that's less common. What most of us are dealing with is secondary constipation, which is caused by other things, like our diet, our lifestyle, medications, you name it. And that's what we're going to focus on, because that's where we have the most power to make a change. And when you look at the causes, you can see just how much everything is connected. Diet and dehydration are by far the biggest piece of the pie, but lifestyle, stress, gut health, and other medical issues all play a really significant part. So let's get into the weeds. What are the big culprits to look for? Well, a low-fiber, processed food diet is a huge one. Not drinking enough water is another. But then there are the less obvious things, right? Like chronic stress. When you're constantly in fight or flight mode, your body literally shuts down digestion. Certain medications, imbalances in your gut bacteria, especially an overgrowth of methane-producing bugs, and even issues with your pelvic floor muscles can all be the root cause. Okay, enough about the problem. Let's talk solutions. What can you do right now to get things moving and find some relief? I've got a couple of really powerful, super simple techniques you can start using today. This might sound way too simple to be true, but trust me, it's a game changer. All you do is put your feet up on a small stool when you sit on the toilet, so your knees are higher than your hips. This one little change in posture literally unkinks your colon, creating a straight path for everything to pass through easily without any straining. Here's another thing you can do right at home. You can actually give your colon a gentle massage to get things moving. You just start on your lower right side, gently brush up towards your ribs, go across your belly, and then down the left side. You're basically following the natural path of your large intestine, physically encouraging things to move along. Now, those tricks are amazing for immediate relief, but the real goal is to create lasting change, right? So now we're going to talk about a protocol for building strong, long-term gut health so you don't have to keep worrying about this. Okay, now this is probably the most important and maybe counterintuitive piece of advice. If you're already backed up, just piling on a ton of fiber is like adding more cars to a traffic jam. It can actually make the bloating and discomfort way worse. So the number one priority is to unclog the drain first. Get things moving, and then you can start building back with more fiber.
So how do we start unclogging that drain? This little trio is a fantastic place to start. Magnesium is great because it gently pulls water into your colon, which helps soften everything up. A motility activator, something with ginger for example, helps stimulate the natural muscle contractions of your intestines. And digestive enzymes can help make sure your food is breaking down properly, which just takes a lot of stress off the whole system.
And of course, hydration. This is absolutely non-negotiable. Stool gets hard because your body is dehydrated and is pulling water out of your colon. A really easy rule of thumb, take your body weight in pounds, divide it by 2, and that's how many ounces of water you should be aiming for each day. Simple as that. Once things are moving, it's time to rebuild your gut microbiome. And there are 3 key parts to this. You've got probiotics, which are the good bacteria themselves. Then you need prebiotics, which are basically the food for those good bacteria. Think special kinds of fiber. And finally, you get postbiotics. These are the amazing, healthy compounds that your good bacteria produce. One of the most important ones is called butyrate, and it's literally the main fuel source for the cells lining your colon. Ultimately, all of this comes back to building solid foundational habits. We're talking about aiming for a pound of veggies a day, getting some daily movement to get those intestines contracting, trying to stick to a regular schedule for sleep and bathroom time, and adding in fiber-rich foods like chia and flax seeds. This is what builds a resilient gut for the long haul. And I want you to know, this stuff can have a massive impact. There's a story about a patient who was only having one bowel movement a month. Can you imagine? By following these exact same principles, she started going every single day. And guess what? She lost 20 pounds, her energy came roaring back, her migraines disappeared, and her skin totally cleared up. It was a complete health transformation. So I'll just leave you with this one thought. If your gut truly is your second brain, and it's sending you signals like bloating, pain, and constipation, what is it trying to tell you? Listening to those signals and learning to respond to them could be one of the best things you ever do for your overall health.